Hello and welcome to Maqam Lessons. This video is the second in a series of a few videos that I'm doing focusing on exercises to help you with the intonation of some of the microtonal maqamat. Last one was on jins slash maqam rust. This time we're going to focus on Bayati and Saba. I'm doing them together because some of the issues are similar and because they can also align together when you're performing. So as I said in the last video, I'm focusing on the kind of lowest level of melodic phrasing, the phrases of just 2 or 3 notes, to really focus on helping you practice your intonation of each interval within the jins. Most of these jins and maqam lessons are focused on the next higher level of melodic vocabulary, like phrases like we're in Bayati, or something like that is a mid-level phrase. And of course, there are higher level phrases, which I may do another series on later on. But the physicality of sound production is one of the things we want to focus on here when we're doing smaller phrases. So I want you to definitely sing, even if you're an instrumentalist, and because we want to focus on how you're producing sound and how you're producing the intervals. Okay, so we're going to do some short phrases in Bayati, and this is our tonic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's the 2. Can you sing 1, 2, 1, 2? The 2 is the note that you may find challenging because it's the quote-unquote microtonal note. If this is on Bayati on D, this would be E half flat, and then F natural. But I find when I'm, both for myself when I was first learning this music, and for the students that I'm teaching now, especially if they're new, if they really get the second right, then the third finger could go off. In other words, the muscle memory of the distance between these two fingers kind of is forcing you to, if you change one, then the other one wants to move. So you have to retrain the muscle memory. The same things happens in the voice if you're not used to singing these 3/4 intervals or intervals that are larger than a half step and smaller than a whole step. So we're focusing on this, not just the 2, but also the interval between 1 and 2, and between 2 and 3. And between 4 and 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, So as I said in the last one of the techniques that we can use is to take a melody from a song or from a short improvisation and take a very small part of it and repeat the parts of it. So I'm going to start here with Nura Nura in Bayati from Farid al-Atrash. Nura Nura, oh yeah, Nura. And what's repeating here is Nura. So let's do that to start. Ah, 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 ah. And let's change the vowel sound. Ooh, ooh. And vary it a little bit. Ooh, ooh. And another thing that I highly encourage you to do is to focus, again, on sound production as a vocalist, again, even if you're an instrumentalist. And the best way to do that is to really engage your abdomen, engage your diaphragm, obviously, but you want to engage below the diaphragm. And I find that the easiest way for people to learn this to begin with is to either laugh or make the ha sound, and you can feel your stomach ha 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 So do that. Ha, ha, ha. And then it forces you to get each note. So you want to sing each note like that. Ha, 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 ha. And then you can put them together. Ha, 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 ha. And then try it smooth. And then add again the forced breathing. Ha, 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 ha. So we did Nura, ha, 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 ha. He, 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 ho, 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 ho. And another phrase that we were just doing. Ah, ah, ho, 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 ho. And your goal each time is to make each of the notes sound exactly the same every time you do it, so that the pitch isn't moving around somewhere else. So take each one of these phrases that I'm giving you, pause the video, and practice it 5 or 6 times before hearing the next one. Or practice it 100 times if you need to. By pausing, really repeating it, and forcing yourself to listen. And the other thing that you can do is you can throw in some contrast so that you're practicing the difference between, say, if we were doing Bayati versus Kurd, which doesn't have a quarter tone in it. As compared with Bayati. Back to Kurd. And practice making that last note different. Takes some concentration to do that, and that exercise will really help you be clear. Versus what's happening in Nura. Just throw in some more phrases. Ha 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 ha. Yanin, yanin, ah, 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 ooh, ooh, ooh. And let's practice that one. Compare it. If it were in Kurd, as opposed to ooh, ooh. And make sure this note is the same each time. Ooh, ooh, ee, 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 ee. ah, 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 ah. That's a good pair to do together. Making sure to get the notes the same each time. So we do ooh, 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 and practice it slow and fast. Ooh, ooh, So underneath the Bayati, as we've discussed in the lesson, you have actually a quarter tone. 2 steps below. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's put those two together. Ah, 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 that's a good one to practice over and over again. It'll help with some of your ornaments. And also getting that jumping up to the interval. And let's sequence it up. You can even just practice a little bit of it. Like that. Again, draw the contrast. Yanin, yanin, yanin. getting into the Saba, and now I'm going to go between Saba and Bayati. The Saba is 1, 2, 3, 4, lowered. Of course, I have the lesson on Jin Saba. One of the most challenging interval sequences in Arabic music to deal with. Let's do it with the ha, ha, ha. Again, engage your abdomen. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Pause the video, do that for yourself a couple times. And really make sure you're hitting each note the same way each time. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. He, 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 he. He, 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 he. Remember, each one of these phrases you can take, pause the video, repeat a bunch of times. I'm going to do those two together a couple more times. Back to Bayati. So you can contrast the Bayati and the Saba version of that. That's a tricky one. Could be either Bayati or Saba. Sorry. Notice this low note, this low sixth scale degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's another interval to pay attention to. 5, 6. Ah, 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 and then you got to pay attention to that note. So I'm going to do that sequence, slow, building up to fast. Of course, you want to take each one by itself. Do it. I said I was going to start slow, didn't I? Being very honest with yourself. Did I get that note right? Does it sound like mine? That's the note you want to pay attention to, even though it's not the end of the phrase. And it's trickier to get it right because it's not the end of the phrase. It just comes under this note. So you might want to go back, even though the goal is to get this phrase. You could break it up into the last part. And then add one more note before it. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ooh, ooh. Go back to the previous one in the sequence and then try to get that one after it. Ooh, ooh. Ah, ah, ee, ee, ah, ah, and then go below it. Ah, also is going to give you a lot of practice on that note. Ah, there it is. Ah, so it's going to happen 3 times. 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. So you want to make sure you get it the same each time. Oh, 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 ah, 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 there it is again. Ooh, ooh. And putting them all together, we have ah, 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 Same thing in Saba. Ah, 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 So you practice each one of them. See, I screwed up the Bayati after doing it after the Saba, so I have to practice that more. Oh. do that one. Let's do it in Saba. Ooh, 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 ooh. Make it slower. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's good to practice that one to make sure you're going 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. So the 2 is the same after the 3 and after the 1. Ooh, ooh. Practice it with the diaphragm and the stomach. Ooh, 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 ooh. I mean, clearly I could just keep going on. This is how I practice. And it is very intense. And if you've watched this whole video and spent some time practicing, it should start to get really intense for you, which is a good thing. Obviously, it's not what you want to be doing all the time. You want to get into the bigger picture melodies. But this really helps the physicality. We're focusing on the physicality of sound production because Maqam, as I said, especially in lesson 35 about the physicality of Maqam, it's not just about knowing it conceptually, it's about understanding that your body produces the sound and that it's the physical skill of producing the sound that is actually what maqam is. It's a skill just like dancing or cooking. It's not the theory, it's the physical skill is where the maqam is. So the more you repeat some of those things so that you develop new muscle memory, especially if you need to retrain your muscles that are not used to playing certain or singing certain intervals, you just do that sort of repetitive drilling practice. Record yourself, listen to yourself, take very short phrases. You can do the same kind of thing that I did here with any song that you like in Maqam Bayati or in Maqam Saba. Skaba yadumo ilain is skaba. Zain is skaba. Skaba. Skaba, 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 skaba. Just like that. Take any phrase, find where it is that you're having the challenge with intonation, and repeat such a small thing and really force yourself to do it. Ha, 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 ha. Like that. Huge thanks to my Patreon supporters, by the way. I have a number of supporters who've grown over the last year and a half that I've been doing these videos. I'm really grateful to all of you. And if you're someone out there who is benefiting from them and can afford a modest monthly contribution, $6 or $10 or $15 a month, and want to support me keep making these lessons for free, you'll find the link to my Patreon below this video. And also there's some free bonus content on the Patreon, some extra lessons in some different keys than I've been offering on the YouTube channel. And please like, subscribe, and share these videos. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. All right, so that's the phrase from, Huwa Sahih, right? The instrumental. It's a great sequence. When your fingers or your voice is confident in the basic melody, then, and they're always going to hit the same place every time, then you can start to really let it breathe and add more ornaments to it. But this sort of the physical basis of always being confident where your voice or your fingers are going to land with that note is what gives you that rootedness that allows you to then play with it a little bit more. Right, so if I'm going to add that ornament, I better be confident that these fingers are going to land this. It's going to always land in the same place every time. So when you're building up to ornaments, or you may be copying my ornaments or other people's ornaments, you have to break them down in the same way. So you know that your fingers are going the same. Don't just do a fast like without doing. You develop the muscle memory, you speed it up. Anyway, I'm being repetitive, but that's what practice is. Thanks very much.